Hi guys, how are you all doing today? I hope you're all keeping well and safe. Welcome to Early Years Math. This episode is going to be all about 7 parenting mistakes to avoid so as not to ruin a child's growth. As you all know, parenting is difficult and challenging. I must say to you, parenting is not easy, and kudos to every parent out there, okay? But in order to avoid mistakes that you as a parent will make that will affect you in terms of not really impacting in your child's life. So I'm going to be talking about these 7 mistakes that you as parent should avoid, okay? So mistake number parent, you must avoid missing out on the most important things in your children's life, okay? So you as parent, you need to avoid missing out on key moments in your children's life, okay? So what are the key moments, okay? When your children, they are celebrating their birthday, okay? Maybe, for example, there's a meeting in your children's school as well, okay? Maybe your child is engaging in sport and you as the parent, you need to create time to drop them. So it's really important that you as parent, you need to avoid the mistakes of not really being there for the most important of your children's life, okay? So it's a mistake that you as parents, you need to avoid, okay? You need to avoid not being there for your child in their key moments, okay? When they're celebrating their birthdays, when they're doing their graduation. It's really important. I know, like I said earlier, it's not easy. As a parent, you have your own career, you have other things that you're doing aside parenting, but it's really important that you need to create time, okay? You need to create time to celebrate key moments in your children's life. And I also want you to know that these key moments, they are just going to be there once in a lifetime, okay? Let's say, for example, a child is celebrating their 10th birthday today, okay? Next year, the child is not going to be 10. The child is moving on. And it's really important as parents that you need to be there for your children to celebrate key moments in their lives, okay? So that's first mistake that you as parent must avoid. Mistake number 2, okay, you as parent must avoid not playing with your children, okay? You as parent, you must engage and play with. Some of my video, I talked about play, okay? Play is really important, and it's really important that you as parent, okay, you need to play with your child irrespective of their age. Play is really important, okay? And in times of play, okay, you as parents, you need to be there for your children when they are playing. You should engage in their play as well. Creative play, okay? Make sure that your children are creative when they are engaging in play. Make sure they come up with, great ideas for play. And in times of children being creative, it's going to help them, to be independent. It's going to help them to be able to do things on their own. So take note of this mistake to avoid. Ensure that you play with your child. Ensure that you spend quality time with, engage your children in creative play. Ensure that you give opportunity for your children to play, okay? So avoid the second mistake. Mistake number 3, okay? Not capturing the best moments of your children's life, okay? Not taking pictures, not taking videos at the moments of your children's life. For example, sometimes, like I said, as parents, we get carried away with too much going on and we neglect important things such as, capturing key moments in our children's life. Sometimes, when children are celebrating their birthday, we're like, oh, it's my child, I'm not going to focus on their birthday this year, I'm going to focus next year. So, but it's really important that, you take pictures, videos to celebrate key moments in your children. You can look back, reflecting back, maybe in many years to come, you can look at it. For example, during when your child is a baby, you took their pictures, and then looking back to when they are grown up as adults, you can reflect back and say, oh, this was you when you were a baby. And bear in mind, these children, when they're adults, they won't really remember what they look like when they are younger. But when you have pictures, you have videos that captures this, they love this. And bear in mind, now we're in a digital, if you look at many years back, when you take pictures, you go and print it out. But look at it, we're in a digital world now. You can save it on your phone, post it on social media if you're comfortable posting your children on social media, and it's going to be there for life. For example, if you your child celebrating their key moment and it's somewhere safe, and then you can go back many years back, you can go back and, oh, this was you when you were in primary school, and the child is going to be a key moment for you as the parent and the child as well, because it's something that they'll be interested in looking at. So avoid this third mistake. Mistake number 4, I would like you to avoid not taking the opinion of your child into account. Okay, it's really important. It depends on the age of the child, especially in relation to early years, okay, which is my area of expertise. You can give children opportunity to make informed decisions, like choices, like for example, okay, would you like to engage in sand play or water play? Okay, so you're seeking the child's opinion, and bear in mind that children have a say in what that concerns them. So if a child is playing, you can give the child the opportunity to decide, okay, what material would they like to play with, okay, what types of play would they like to engage in. So it's really important that you take the opinion of your children into play. I know sometimes that children will want to make decisions that it's not right for them. Your role as parents is to kind of like guide them on the right path, okay? But you see, have to listen to them. It's really important. Whenever a child has something to say to you, you listen to the child, and if it's not the right path, you as the parent, it is your role to be able to direct the child, to let the child know that, oh yeah, what you said, you have a point there, but I think, or I feel this is the best way for you to go. So it's really important. I'd have something to say to you, do listen. And if it's not something that you want them to do, so you as the adult as well, you can now put them on the right track and say, yes, you have a point, but I feel you're kind of like wrong, why don't you look at this again? But it's really important that, you take their opinion into account. Okay, for example, like, if they want to do something, give them the opinion. You can ask them, okay, what do you think about this as well? Okay, what do you think if you do this, or what way do you think we should approach it? That you avoid this mistake of not taking the opinion of your child into account. And in terms of taking the opinion of your child, you need to consider their age. Like for example, early years, you have a child of 5-year-old, and a child of 5-year-old is asking you something that is meant for a 15-year-old. You definitely know that this cannot happen. So this is what the parents to tell the child that, okay, you're too young for this, okay, but when you get to that age of 15, you'll definitely be able to get this. So it's really important as parents that you let the opinion of your child count, okay? So take note of this so that you can avoid this mistake as well. The mistake that you need to avoid as parents is not being consistent with your rules, okay? So it's really important when you have rules at home, you need to be consistent with your rules. Like I said, sometimes children would want to try you, like you want them to do something, you're like, oh, if you don't do this is the consequence. They kind of like, they want to try you and say, oh, mommy, please, I'm going to do it now, I'm going to do it later. But you need to be consistent with your rules. And when you're consistent with your rules, definitely the children, they are going to see you. They will see that, yes, you're really consistent. And in terms of being consistent with rules at home, it's going to help the student as they grow up, because in the society today, we have rules, and it's really important that we abide by these rules. For example, if you're going into the post office, okay, you want to post a letter in the post office, and you have about 5 people in front of you, you're definitely going to queue. You're not going to jump the queue. You're not going to say, oh, because you're in a hurry or you're rushing, you want to go ahead as well. So it starts from catching them young. When you have rules at home, the children will be able to, they'll be able to adapt to this rule, and it's going to help them when they grow up, that we have rules in the society that we have to abide by. So it's really important as parents, you have to be consistent with your rules at home, okay? Rules that you have at home, okay, you need to be consistent with it. And as time goes on, the children will definitely adapt to this, okay? Take note of not being consistent with your rules at home. And lastly, the 7th mistake that you need to avoid as parents is you need to communicate with your child, okay? Every moment in your child's lives, give room for communication. It's really important that you have to engage in communication with your children, okay? It starts from when they are young, early childhood. You engage in communication with them, okay? Are they doing every day? It's really important, because it will get to a point, when they are adults, you can't really communicate with them more than the way you've been communicating with them when they are young. So it's really important that you as parents, you need to avoid these mistakes, okay? Communicate with your children. And like I also did, I'll be talking about communication starts during the pregnancy stage. It is when a child is in the womb that communication starts. You as the parent, you start to communicate with the child. You start to talk to the child. And bear in mind, research has proven that children that during the stage of pregnancy that the parents communicate with them, by the time these children are born, okay, they're already exposed to what they are they're very good in terms of communication. So it's really important as parents, okay, take each day, okay, use each day with your children, communicate with your children. Communication is the key, because when you communicate with your children, you get to know a lot of things about them, okay, how are they feeling, okay, and they'll be able to share some things with you, okay. So parents, I would encourage you, parents and guidance, I would encourage you to avoid these 7 mistakes, okay, so that you will not affect your child's growth, and you as the parent in the nearest future, you will not be thinking that, oh, you should have avoided these mistakes, okay. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you still waiting for? Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on your notification bell so that whenever I upload a video, you'll be the first person to receive the notification. Take care and do mind yourselves for now. Bye bye.